Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. It is Monday, February the 6th, 2023. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the legend himself, the one and only Mr. Josh Crash Davis. And Crash, I could not be more fired up. My schedule shifted around this afternoon, opened up so we could join this together and get after it. We've had a couple of good, successful days, and I'm excited to get after it with you today.
Yeah, definitely enjoyed doing the show with you on Saturday, you and Deb both. And I know we had a good turnout yesterday, really good turnout yesterday.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have a good turnout today and even more so have some awesome lineups tonight for everybody. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, it was fun yesterday. That big Kyrie trade to the Mavericks had just happened. So we got to go back and forth on that quite a bit and just talk about all kinds of stuff. But, what a week it's going to be. The NBA trade deadline is this Thursday. So we've got 3 days of mayhem, as they would say.
Yep. It's going to be a fun week. A lot of news to keep up with, that's for sure.
And I'll tell you, there's a lot of edge to be had. So I'm going to try to, make as many shows as I can between now and the trade deadline, just because in the past, there are certain times, as you know, Crash, that we have a huge edge here at Coach Talk. And it's usually like beginning of the season, playoffs, and then trade deadline time, because everything is in flux. There's a lot of people looking to make a move. So guys are going to be sat, like Anunoby is with the Raptors right now. And then you're going to have guys that do get traded that, when are they going to play the first game, etc. We should get to see Kyrie with the Mavericks tomorrow, for example.
Yep.
And so what we do here at Coach Talk is we stay on top of all of that. We follow all that news, get the insider stuff, go to the beat writers, and then we're going to share that with you here. And just one player, as we know, can shift an entire lineup. So really excited to bring that out there to everybody for sure. So it's going to be a fun week. I promise you we won't go 40 minutes before we go into the games today, like yesterday.
Yeah, we've got what 3 hours almost till lock, so there's no way we should be going that long.
Oh wait, it's going to be close. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Totally kidding. I do want to mention a couple of things. First of all, let's say hello to those that are jumping in chat with us already, which is great, and hopefully people continue to filter in. The winner of the first person in the chat today, our good friend Payne Blank SM, also known as Dead Presidents. Love having him in here, and thank you for being the first one in the group. Aloysius 5 just got nipped by 2 minutes. Aloysius usually can get in there first, but you know what? Second is also good. When we have a competition, Crash usually finishes second, and he does just fine. So we're good with that. Damian Darby, the first double D, and David Dulac. Now, what's better than a Monday afternoon with a couple of sets of double Ds? You know what I'm saying? And I mean that in the nicest way, with Damian Darby and David Dulac. D's are wild. And Davion Cuff just for an extra D. Too bad it wasn't Davion Duff. We'd have 3 sets of double Ds. Absolute power. How are you, my friend? Love it. Oh, no, I have to try to pronounce this, Crash. Jeff Zernuski. I tried it like 5 times yesterday. It was part of the reason the show went so long.
Chernisky, he said. Chernisky.
Chernisky. Nah, you think? Chernesky? Chernesky.
Well, no, he's got it in the chat. He's got how to pronounce it. It's Cherny.
I know, but it looks like Chernesky.
Chernesky.
Are you really Polish, Jeff? Because I'm not. Chernesky. I think boom means that we got Chernesky is right. So Crash had it. Oh,
Cherniesky. Yeah, Cherniesky. That's how
I'm not saying it anymore. I'm just going to say Jeff, and you can say
Cherniesky.
Yeah. But awesome to have you guys in here. Appreciate you. Hopefully, again, we have some more jump in. One thing I want to share with you real quick, Crash, even though I was late to the party, you know me, I'm always trying to be prepared. So Couple of rumors that are going around for the trade deadline, and we'll share those every day this week as we go, because we got our inside skinny. Couple of things going on. I know this one's going to shake up the NBA DFS world. Furkan Korkmaz has demanded a trade. I hope he goes to the Bucks and takes Grayson Allen's place. That's my wish for you there, Crash. But anyway, some of the other news, though, that's happening out there, rumors, and again, things will blow up. Of course, the Lakers trying like crazy to move Westbrook, but it looks like everybody's demanding like a first-round pick to take Westbrook off their hands. It's hard to believe, the triple-double machine, and they can't move him. For some reason, the Phoenix Suns and the Kevin Durant thing keeps popping up and popping up. It is the strangest rumor. I don't know how that's going to fly, but don't be.
This is a weird one.
If something doesn't happen there down the road with Durant and the Suns. I don't think now, but it's just a rumor going on. People are after Kelly Olynyk. He's in somebody that they're trying to go after, and Jared Vanderbilt. So those guys could move. Keep an eye on that as we're going. Nerlens Noel is being suited by the Philadelphia 76ers. So lots of small moves, but all those little chess pieces, are going to be in play this week. So we're going to follow those very closely. Those are just a couple that I thought people would find interesting. So
sure,
we will follow those as the week goes on for sure. But Crash, we have 8 really good games today. We have 2 teams on the second night of a back-to-back, 3 teams on the first night of a back-to-back. So that adds a little spice to the soup here, if you will. And then we have 6 games tomorrow. So it's really a nice. We had a decent schedule yesterday. There were actually 6 games, 8 today, 6 tomorrow. I like when they spread it out like this and we don't get those days where there's 2 games,
Yeah.
It's good stuff. All right. With 2 7:00 games, we'll check on ownership as we're going through here. I'll set the stage of the game. Crash, you can break it down. And then, of course, like normal, I'll throw my 2 cents in there at the end. So, and let me know whenever you want to hit ownership. We'll scour over that as well.
Okay.
It's interesting today. We definitely have some shifting of some of these lineups. Congratulations too to some of our members. We did some cashing in basketball. We even cashed and did pretty well in NASCAR and PGA golf. Our 4th round guys stepped it up. It was fun watching that at Pebble. So I enjoyed that. All right. Game number 1, it's a 7:00 game. It is the Boston Celtics at the Detroit Pistons. Boston comes in 37-16. The Pistons a paltry 14-40. So Wembanyama for sure. It looks like injury-wise, we've got a questionable tag on Jaylen Brown. So that's going to be massive news that we are going to need without question. Gallinari, Cornette, Smart still out for Boston. Isaiah Stewart, questionable for Detroit. That changes the rotation a bit. And Marvin Bagley already out. So they'll be a little thinner on the front line. Boy, Jalen Duren killed me the other day with foul trouble. That was a gut punch, but maybe we'll give him a second run today.
Yeah. Was that against Phoenix or who was that against?
I wiped it from my mind. I saw 3 fouls in like 6 minutes, and I had to take Pepto-Bismol and lay down.
Right.
So you know how that goes. But in this game, one question is Boston going to blow their doors in? Because they're a 10.5-point road favorite in Vegas already.
No.
The total's decent though at 230.5. I mean, it's middle of the road. So this should be an interesting game. Last piece of game set, then you can break it down for us. In pace, Boston 18th in the league, so it's a little bit low middle of the pack. Detroit playing pretty quick at 9th. And then, of course, the opposite ends of the spectrum defensively, Boston 6th, and they've been in pretty much in the top 5 most of the year. Detroit second worst in the NBA. So a little bit of a scary game to start, Crash. Give us the inside skinny.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to whether or not this game stays close enough for me. With Jaylen Brown questionable, like we always talk about, when you got a team with 2 stars and one of them's out, you always got to look at the other. So Jason Tatum, firmly in play. He's 11,000 on DraftKings, 10.8 on FanDuel, $47 on Yahoo. He's averaged 56.6 DraftKings points in 2 games against the Pistons this year. He had 67.5 against them, 67.5 DraftKings points against Detroit when Jaylen Brown was out earlier this year. And he's averaged about 58.2 DraftKings points without Jaylen Brown. So
nice.
If Brown is out, then Tatum becomes, a core play, I think. And then also that would bring into the equation Malcolm Brogdon, 6,100 on DraftKings, 6,000 on FanDuel, $21 on Yahoo. And on the Detroit side, I don't really have anybody. I just think that Boston's too tough defensively to really lean on an 8-game slate. I don't feel like I have to go there with Detroit. So
I'm with you. Yeah, this isn't my favorite game either. However, we do need that news. I mean, we've talked about it a million times here. Don't overthink it. When you've got, 2-player dominant teams like, with Brown and Tatum with the Celtics, or like LeBron and AD with LA, or I can say this now, Crash, or with Luka and Kyrie with Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. So when you have that and one of them sits out, we generally, don't overthink it, go to the other one. But Tatum, 11 bananas, 11K on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's
that's
expensive.
That's a big number.
It is, and it's only if Jaylen Brown's ruled out. That's the only way I would even consider Tatum. So
yeah, I'm so afraid of the blowout too. I just don't. I'm as of right now. I know I'm overthinking, and I said not to, but I'm not leaning that direction at this moment. I just don't know if Detroit can keep it close enough, Crash.
Yeah, I'm with you. So are you fading this game completely then, basically?
I sort of like Jalen Duren again. I don't know if I'm just being stubborn, but if Isaiah Stewart sits or isn't going to play much, I mean, he's everything they got inside,
Yeah.
They're trying to trade Nerlens Noel.
Right.
More than likely going to end up as a Sixer. And we already know that, we've got Bagley out. And if Stewart's, I don't know, Jalen, I know Robert Williams is a great defender, but, I'm still on the fence about Tatum. I won't count him out completely. Duren may make the lineup, but definitely not a game I'm going to have much exposure to.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, let's go to game 2. It is also a 7:00. So there's 2 early games. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers, 33-22 at the Washington Wizards, 24-28. Big piece of news in this game, of course, as always, it seems like, is Bradley Beal. Is he going to play or not? You know what, though, Crash? I don't know if I have rostered Bradley Beal more than like once all year.
Yeah, I haven't hardly either. I don't know. Ever since Porzingis and those guys went over there, I just haven't been going to Bradley Beal as much as I used to. I used to play him quite a bit.
Oh, he was one of our main plays. I remember year before last, when they show you your most owned guys from the season at the end of the year, he was on that list. But I don't know if injuries have caught up with him. The system is different. I don't know, but he's definitely not the same guy he used to be. But it still would have a big effect on their rotation. So that's going to be interesting. As far as the injuries in this game, LeVert is questionable. No Rubio. He's going to just play and sit because it's the second night of a back-to-back for Cleveland. So, they'll be a little cautious there. That also makes me a little nervous, about Mitchell. He's awesome, but he's expensive, and he just came back recently on a back-to-back. How much are they going to stretch him out? So that is a concern. Along with Beal, Anthony Gill is also questionable, and Kuzma, we know, is going to be out for a little bit here for Washington. So, if Beal sits and Kuzma sits, I know everybody's going to go ape you-know-what for Porzingis, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk about that a little bit here. Cleveland's the slowest team in the league, Crash, and the best defensive team. So I said it yesterday for those who are listening, but boy, that's a double whammy for DFS. Who the heck wants to play much of the game where the team is the slowest and best defensive? It hits you both ways. So that's a huge deterrent. And Washington's just dead middle of the road on both, basically. They're 16th in pace and defense. Again, Cleveland on the second night of a back-to-back. That's why Vegas has Cleveland only a 2-point favorite. So, number one, I don't understand that line. Secondly, that makes me feel like Beal's going to play. And it's only a 222.5 total. So, I don't know, Crash. This game gives me a stomach ache.
Yeah, I'm not too high on this game either. I think Jared Allen is a decent play. He's 6,800 on DraftKings, 7,200 on FanDuel, $25 on Yahoo. He faced Washington earlier this year on October 23rd. He had 42.5 DraftKings points, and he's averaged around 46 his last 3 times that he's faced the Wizards. So he's had some pretty decent numbers for his price. And then Denny Avdia has been getting good minutes. And with Kuzma out, I think he's a decent value play, especially on DraftKings and Yahoo. He's 5,500 on DraftKings, $19 on Yahoo. He's 6,500 on FanDuel, so I'm probably not going to go to him over there. Right. But I do think on DraftKings and Yahoo that he's in play.
I'm with you. This game, I'm not going with any Cavaliers. I'm just make it real simple. I mean, Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, and Allen. Too much sharing. A game that on a second night of a back-to-back, not interested. I will say, though, for some reason, if Beal does sit, and it pains me because I don't like him at all, Porzingis would become a possibility. But there are 2 value plays in this game that I'm considering. Not both, but probably one or the other. I'd like to grab a value wizard in either Gafford, who's now playing quite a few minutes at center, and the guy that you mentioned, Avdia. He's been really good. He was playing really well even before Kuzma went out. Now he's, and he's one of those guys, and he's huge. He's like 6'9" or 10 or something, and he gets rebounds. He can shoot it. So I like Denny Avdia. I think he's got a good future in the NBA, and I like his price. I agree with you. FanDuel 6,500 too much, but the other 2 sites, I definitely could have some Denny in my life. JT from Justin Timberlake's back in with us today. How you doing, JT? Spread the word. If you're watching this right now on Twitter, then please like and retweet so other people can join in the fun. If you're watching on YouTube, let's hit that thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it. And Crash is posted here. If you want to try us out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we got a nice NBA schedule all 3 days. And then we're going to gear up for some PGA this weekend. We've got all kinds of NASCAR now back full throttle. See how I used that full throttle right in there? Just perfect.
The Super Bowl Sunday. So
what I was going to say, and there's one small little game that might be happening. In fact, Crash, why don't you let everybody know so they can mark it on their calendars to be tuned in tonight like I'm going to be for you and Steve-O.
Yeah, so at 10 p.m. Eastern, I know it's a little late, but Steve's out in Arizona. He's actually like just miles away from the Super Bowl. So I'm sure he's pumped up about that.
Nice.
But 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, we will be doing our Super Bowl preview show. So definitely encourage everybody to come out and listen to it. We'll have a lot of really good plays and hopefully some sleepers that you may not have been thinking of. So Steve's really known for that. Like he always comes up with these crazy, almost off the wall plays sometimes, and it seems to work out pretty well. So I definitely appreciate that about him.
You guys have done a phenomenal job in football, and I love your mixture because your balanced lineups and then his value plays and stuff really have created some super lineups for our entire team. And why don't you give away a ticket on that show? You should do that get everybody pumped up so that they can play with the Super Bowl Millie Maker.
We'll have to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
yep.
We'll have to do that. Maybe even 2. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Totally lost track of my brain here. So we were talking about, let's go back to this game. So where did we leave off here as far as are we moving to Clippers in Brooklyn? Are we ready to go?
I think so. The last thing we were talking about was Avdia. So
yeah. How did Avdia lead us to the dang Super Bowl?
Because we were talking about memberships at Coach Talk.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. You know, I drift at times. That's why these podcasts go so long. 2 better than 1. Okay, David Dulac. You want to build a 2 brains are better than 1 today, Crash?
I mean, why not?
I've got some FanDuel change from NASCAR to mess with, so we may want to build one there. All right, we'll do that. But let's get back into the flow here and hit game 3. Now we move to 7:30. It's the only 7:30 game, and we get to see Brooklyn post Kyrie Brooklyn. The 2 Mavericks will not play tonight for Brooklyn, by the way. So no Dorian Finney-Smith or Spencer Dinwiddie. So in this game, Clippers are 30-26, somehow maintaining a winning record with guys in and out. Now it seems like they have George and Kawhi back on a regular basis. So that's not good for the teams in the West. Brooklyn, 32-20. That's the amazing thing. They're 12 games over 500. It's not like, flush it down the toilet. They're still in the thick of it. And we'll see how this group can hold up. Ben Simmons is questionable, so we don't even know if we're going to get him. And then, I talked about it a long time yesterday. The guy that I'm most excited about off of all of this move, other than Kyrie going to Dallas, is I like the open door for Edmund Sumner here. I'm so excited to see him stepping up. I think he's got really good game. I thought he did as a rookie with the Pacers. I was surprised that he didn't stick there because I think he can play. And I think he's the secret squirrel, if you will. We used to give out a secret squirrel back in the day. Yeah. And for me, it's Edmund Sumner for sure. But I'll let you break this game down. No John Wall for the Clippers. TJ Warren could be back for Brooklyn. That'll help some of the scoring. Another possible secret squirrel kind of play, but I'd like to see a game under his belt. Simmons will not, is going to be a game time decision probably. No Dinwiddie, Finney-Smith, Seth Curry, or Kevin Durant. So possibly 4 of their 5 starters right there are all sitting out. So we'll see how they can hold on. Clippers are an 8-point road favorite, and it is a 220.5 total, so low total. Clippers 24th in pace, Brooklyn 19th, so not fast teams. That's why you got the low number. Clippers are 13th defensively, Brooklyn 9th. So who would believe Brooklyn would be a top 10 defensive team? Yeah. But it's also a first night of a back-to-back for Brooklyn. But here's the good news, Crash. I think the 2 Mavericks, Dinwiddie and Finney-Smith, will be in tomorrow. So I don't think they're going to have any minutes restrictions on any of these guys because they're going to get relief tomorrow. So I think we can play this game pretty straight up. So what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to come down to whether or not this game can stay close enough. I mean, the Clippers are pretty much getting near full strength. John Wall, is still out, but I like a little bit of a value actually for the Clippers. I think Norman Powell and Marcus Morris are probably my 2 favorites on their side, just in case this game does get out of hand a little bit. Those guys should be benefactors of that. They should get extra run. And then on the net side, I like Claxton. He's one of my favorite up and coming players that I've watched quite a bit this year.
Pricey.
So you like him? He's a little pricey. He's 7,900 on DraftKings, so he's below 8K now. He was almost 9K about a week ago. 8,400 on FanDuel, $30 on Yahoo. And then you have the super chalky Edmund Sumner and Cameron Thomas. You mentioned Edmund Sumner.
What was with Cam Thomas dropping 44?
Yeah. He's one of those, he's either going to go off or he's going to get you like 12 fantasy points. So, yeah.
When I say 44, if you missed it, the folks listening, not 44 fantasy points. He had 44 real points.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. So, But both of those guys are super chalky. So I don't know if you have. I mean, I guess Edmund Sumner would be your preference based on what you said about him. But
I love him, and he's my favorite value play today. But that makes me go to the ownership, because I get a big fat tear in my eye because he's the fourth highest projected owned guy.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Some people listen to my podcast yesterday too much, maybe. We're getting all kinds of ownership, but let me give you the quick ownership rundown since I'm looking at it, and I see Mr. Sumner fourth. He's only 4,500 on DraftKings, so such a good deal. But right now, Jordan Poole, he's going to be chalky for quite a while now with Curry. That really sucks with Curry having this partially torn ligament. That's bad
really
news, man. And I keep thinking about Curry last year in the All-Star game, how much fun that was to watch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yes.
That was one of the best performances I've ever seen, and now we're not going to have him. How about the second highest owned guy, though, Crash?
I know.
Jalen Hardy, second round pick from the Mavericks. So this is his day in the sun before Kyrie shows up.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He's not shy. He's not a bad play because he's going to get shots up.
Yeah, he is.
God only knows what to expect, but for $3,400, 46% right now as far as projected ownership on DraftKings. Unreal. So we'll get to him. Your man Giannis is everybody's pay up guy. So it looks like people are going cheap with the Hardys and Sumners, and they're going to play Giannis. And I know we'll get your take on that. Klay Thompson. And then this one makes me want to throw up. Stanley freaking Johnson.
Oh, man.
Now, you know how we get a guy in here that we say is just the worst, stupidest value chalk, don't play him? That's Stanley Johnson for me. No way. Hey, Michael, how you doing, man? You know what? Sumner or Thomas? That is the major question here. I'm going Sumner, but I think you're going to have one of those two guys in almost everybody's lineup. Which guy would you lean to, Crash?
Between Sumner and Thomas?
It's close.
Yeah.
Thomas is...
Go with Sumner because Thomas is probably going to get Paul George's defense.
That could be. And Thomas is $500 more, but he's also projected almost 10% less owned than Sumner. So it's not a layup decision for sure.
No, definitely not. But yeah, I think I would go with Thomas with Sumner because I do think that Cam Thomas is going to see Paul George. So
that's a good question. Who's Kawhi going to guard then too? That's more bad news for them.
Yeah, they don't really have like a big or a bigger guard or small forward. Yeah. I guess probably Royce O'Neal or Joe Harris. I don't know. Those guys are all like guards, really.
Yeah, it's not. It's a mismatch. You know, the more I look at that game, the more I'm worried that the Clippers may smack them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they very well may.
I mean, plus all the distractions.
Well, if Simmons plays, I'm sure Kawhi will be on him. But you know, I don't think Simmons is going to play. So I think Cam Thomas will be starting. You know, and then he'll be matched up with Paul George. So
or Kawhi. Kawhi maybe. Yeah. Kawhi can guard anybody. So
Kawhi can guard anyone.
Finished that game the other day with those big damn hands. He stole the ball and went the whole other way. He can't get the ball. He's unbelievable, that guy.
Yeah, he is.
Quick hello to Michael Charlie Jugakushti, King of All Trades, giving us some Monday vibes. And the crowd's growing. I love it, man. This is great. We have some great momentum. Appreciate all of you guys jumping in here. All right, so the rest of that list, Crash, I had to stop at the Stanley Johnson because I was about
to fall on the floor.
Yes. So it goes Wiggins, Thomas, Josh Richardson. I mean, I just love the DFS rankings. If I had sat here last week, not a long time ago, and said to you, oh, by the way, Jaden Hardy, Edmund Sumner, Stanley Johnson, Josh Richardson, those guys are going to be dead chalk, top 10 owned next week. You'd have thought I smacked my head on the ground or something.
That's crazy.
Christian Wood's back tonight, so we'll see how
Yeah.
that's going to roll. Drew Holiday, so a couple of bucks in there. I know you'll be excited. Draymond Green, Zach LaVine, who was initially rumored in possible trades. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. He and DeMar DeRozan about equally owned. And then Darius Garland. I wanted to get to this one because it made me chuckle. The Dallas Mavericks own Frank Ntilikina has made the top 14.
Oh, my word.
What is going on, Crash?
Yeah, I mean, these guys are so cheap. Everybody just thinks, oh, we'll just plug this guy in because he's cheap. But, I mean, I don't know that the game is there to – I don't know.
Well, I think you should start every lineup with Stanley Johnson and Frank Ntilikina and then challenge me to a head-to-head.
I'm not going to be doing that, I can promise you. I'm not going to be playing Jeff Green either. So,
yeah. All right, FanDuel, ready? Hardaway Jr., Hardy. So you got the two HARD guys from Dallas, 1-2 on FanDuel. DeRozan, Wood, so 3 of the top 4 Mavericks, overreaction. LaVine, Robert Williams, Josh Green. And by the way, all that noise I made, I was right the other day, by the way. He scratched his way to barely in garbage time getting to like 19 or 20 fantasy points. So he didn't make his number. He's not going to make his number, and I wouldn't take him. So that's real simple. And I like him in the Mavericks rotation. I like the fact that he'll be able to defend when Kyrie and Luka and Wood are doing the scoring, but not from a DFS perspective. That's my feeling. Holiday, Vukovic, Jeremy Grant. I haven't seen him on a top list in a while. My man, Edmund Sumner. Hopefully he slides under the radar. Richardson, and then some chump by the name of Giannis. And then Yahoo, quick look. Oh, no, Edmund Sumner, $12, number 1. That hurts.
Number 1.
Yeah. Josh Richardson, Jordan Poole, Christian Wood, Andrew Wiggins, your buddy Cameron Thomas, Giannis, Josh Green, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Jane Hardy, Tim Hardaway Jr. So a lot of repetitive value. So it looks to me, in looking at that value crash, the strategy for most people today is buy up to Giannis, grab some of the cheap value on some of these teams like Dallas, and then fill in from there. So interested to see what your take's going to be on that as we go. So, all right. I told you first night of back-to-back for Brooklyn. Okay, so we're good there. Anything else in that game? The Clippers?
No, I think we're good on that game. Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, let's go to game 4. We have 2 games at 8 o'clock. The first one's the San Antonio Spurs and Chicago Bulls. San Antonio 14-39. They're in the fight for Wembanyama as well. And the Bulls 25-27. So very disappointing to be below 500 with the big dogs, LaVine and DeRozan there, and Vuk. They've got some guns. They're just not winning. That's why they were looking maybe to make some trades. It looks like injury-wise, important news for the Spurs, Keldon Johnson, but I did read that he went through shoot-around this morning, so I think that he will play, Crash. But no Trey Jones, no Langford, no Sokan, no Vassell. So a lot of guys out for San Antonio. Again, they're in they want to lose, in my opinion. Patrick Williams looks like he's going to play. Caruso's the one that's very questionable here. We'll follow that. No Ball, no Green like it's been all along. San Antonio's 4th in pace, so a good pace-up game for Chicago. Chicago in the middle of the pack at 15th. Of course, San Antonio dead last in defense in the league, so always a good team to target. Definitely gets more interest for me in Chicago. And Chicago's 12th in the league in defense. The only negative here, Crash, you want to go to some Bulls because of the stats I just read you on the Spurs, but it's the first night of a back-to-back for Chicago. And Donovan at times can be a little ginger on his guys on back-to-back. So I'm a little worried about that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think and I kind of had this feeling when I saw the matchup because, as we've talked about a lot of times, Vucevic is not really a great defender. Jakob Poeltl, he's had right around 40.4 DraftKings points average his last 6 games, excuse me.
Really? I did not realize that.
He's had 4 of his last 6 where he scored over 40 fantasy points. So he's only 5,900 on DraftKings and $20 on Yahoo, 6,500 on FanDuel. So it's a little borderline there. But if he gets you 40, I mean, that's, almost 6x. So
Hoop's not a good defender either. So
he's not. So Poeltl would be the main spur that I look at. Keita Bates-Diop, he's been playing pretty well for his price. He's still 4,600 on DraftKings, 5,500 on FanDuel, $12 on Yahoo. The Bulls have allowed the 5th most fantasy points to power forward. So while Sohan is out, he's kind of been filling that role. So I do like him a little bit as a value play. Definitely not somebody that you have to play. And then, you got DeRozan, the revenge factor against this former team and all that. But I think that, the numbers haven't really been there against the Spurs in this matchup either. So I'm a little leery of going there.
Yeah. You've got Bulls favored by 10, by the way. So that's always scary too. Are they going to, crush the Spurs? Never know what you're going to get from the Spurs anyway. But it is a 239 total, Crash. So
that's what's interesting to me is the total, because to me, it should be a blowout. I mean, it's in Chicago. I don't know. To me,
Bulls haven't been playing well, though.
Yeah,
that's true. But you're right. I agree with you. It's a tough one. You don't want to, stack up 2 or 3 guys from this game, and then all of a sudden it's a 20-point game, and everybody's getting chopped up minutes.
And they are favored by 10.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's definitely some danger here. And like I said, if they do get up 15 or 16 with a game tomorrow for Chicago, I wouldn't think he's going to, stretch out Levine, DeRozan, or Vuk. So I don't know. I'm not interested in the Bulls side. I'm with you, though. I may want to grab one value guy. If I do go with you on the Giannis train, I may want to grab one of the cheaper Spurs. I agree with you on Poeltl, dangerous. I've always been a Keita Bates-Diop guy. That's one of those guys. He was with the T-Wolves before a couple of years ago, and I always thought, this kid, when he gets in, he plays. He's not a bad ball player. But I get nervous with Pop has killed me so many times. Mm-hmm. And, you start to Zach Collins, Stanley Johnson, nonsense, Branham, Malachi Branham, whatever. It just makes me nervous. I will say this, though. If Keldon Johnson is ruled in, he's 7-1 on DraftKings, which I think is fair. He's by far their best player. And because of that Q tag, people freak out. So he went through shoot around. If I can get a super low-owned Keldon Johnson, I don't think it's the worst play in the world by any stretch. But not a great game, even though the total is really good.
Right. No, I think he will be super low-owned, like you said. I think he will be.
Yeah, that tag really helps sometimes,
Yeah, for sure.
All right, this will probably be a lot of people's favorite game, even though it's the 3rd highest total. People love to play Sacramento and Houston guys and all over the place here. And I get it. I mean, it's reasonable, but it's not as obvious as you would think. So let's break down this game. It's the other 8 o'clock game. It's Sacramento 29-23. Again, probably one of the best stories in the NBA in the first half. Rockets are 13-40. So they are those Rockets, San Antonio, and Detroit are really battling for that number 1 pick. And they're all within a game. So you got to watch that in the second half because they do not want to win, these teams. And as far as the spread in this game, Sacramento is a 7-point road favorite, which isn't that bad. Nice 236 total. 0 injuries for Sacramento. So Fox goes from out to just fine, ready to play. So, does that affect things? Sacramento's got a pretty deep bench now.
Right.
That worries me a little bit. On the Houston side, it's just Garrison Matthews questionable. but the big one is Kevin Porter Jr. still out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've been as guilty as anybody else, hit Sabonis all the time. Murray and Herter as cheap guys. Fox is a key play. Chasing stinking Jalen Green. Eric Gordon, I played 3 days in a row this past week. KJ,
right.
I chase Jabari sometimes, and we all pay up for Şengün. So I know from my own perspective, and I think in the DFS world, these two teams have been getting tons of ownership. Mm-hmm. But the question is, what does the mix look like today? You got, Sacramento and Houston. This shocked me, Crash. 14th and 13th in pace. Isn't that surprising? I thought these teams would be like 2 and 4 or something.
Yeah.
So they're not playing ultra fast. So that's a little bit of a red flag. Mm-hmm. And then Sacramento played last night. So it's the second night of a back-to-back for them. So that's a concern. I will say, though, on the positive side, the defense is not good. Sacramento 20th, Houston all the way up to 28th. They were last. Now they're third from last. So somebody's playing a little D for the Rockets. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, my initial build, I was like, why do I have 4 guys from this game again? And now I'm starting to shave down a guy or two. I might not have as much exposure as I thought I would.
Yeah, Sabonis has actually played better with Fox in the lineup than without him. So I think that you can definitely, keep an eye on him. He did have 73.3 DraftKings points against Houston on January 13th.
Damn.
And, he had a monster game against them. Now he's played them twice in the last month. He also played them on January 11th. In that game, he didn't do quite as good. He had 55, still solid for his price, 55.5. Houston's allowed the most fantasy points to point guards, but De'Aaron Fox hasn't put up monster numbers, just like 35 and 41.
Plus his first game back from injury too.
Exactly. Last 2 games against them. So, it's a good matchup, but he hasn't really been putting up against them. I think that with Jalen Green back, it hurts Eric Gordon. His DraftKings points per game drops like 10 when Jalen Green's in the lineup. So I'm looking at Kenyon Martin Jr. The Kings have allowed the most fantasy points to small forwards, so I think that he's still in play. But there's definitely a way of fading this game, I think, and being fine. So,
and I think it's going to be pretty popular. I really do. That's the cool part about it. Real quick, I want to say hello to Damo. What's up, man? Great to have you with us. See Self-Made. Great to have you. I want to know if you won any cash with those free tickets, my friend. That's what we need to know. But great to have you.
I saw his comment, JT, about Keldon Johnson. That's my thing. He kills me every time I play him too.
I know.
He's so hard to guess. Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are talking me off the edge because it seems like any Spur just kills you like at times. Now, it's not like we celebrate, oh, wow, having a couple of Spurs got me over the top. It seems like we always talk about how they kill us. So I don't know why I'm always considering these damn Spurs. I don't want them.
No, they don't play a lot of great defense, so they end up in these fast-paced, high-scoring games. So
the fourth fastest team with the worst defense. It tempts you every day. You know?
Exactly.
You get the pop deal. Yeah. Brad Tremblay. Is that somebody new? I don't remember a Brad Tremblay. Great to have you, my friend. And we are about to talk about Mr. Şengün here a little bit. What do you think about Şengün?
His price is too high for me. I was looking at him earlier too, and his price is just too high now. He's like mid-8s. We were paying.
Remember when he was like
35,000? Yeah, 4,600. Yeah, exactly. So, for paying that much, I mean, I would just prefer like Pirtle, or I like Kessler in this next game. Christian Wood. I mean, there's better options to me. So
and there's a lot of cheap centers. It seems like I've been having more success going with the value centers and then spending elsewhere, because even if they're not that good, the Durans that I'm looking at today, the Gaffords, all these guys, I get it. They're not certainly Şengün's, but they're big dudes. They're in the paint. The ball's going to fall in their stinking hands. So you get 7-8 rebounds accidentally, and I mean you're going to put a few putbacks. You're going to get a couple of things like that. So I like the value center spot lately, but I will say this, and Brad, you are a mind reader, my friend. So you need to join us every day because we love really intense, smart talk. Because I was going to say this, FanDuel 8K for Mr. Şengün is very, very fair. It's DraftKings and Yahoo where he scares me, but on that price, very possible.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that price. But 8,600, I'm not going to pay that on DraftKings.
So. Yeah, I think it's close.
Yeah.
Emerson's Baby Gap shirt. Love you. Thanks for joining us. We have a nice crowd today, Crash. Bigger for a Monday than we were expecting. So that's awesome. I want to read you that. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I said good for a Monday. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. This is from Underdog. It posted a little bit before we went on air, but just in case anybody missed it or they joined late, these are he puts up his little deal there. Jaylen Brown, questionable. Bradley Beal, questionable. Giannis, probable. Keldon Johnson, questionable. Ben Simmons, questionable. Isaiah Stewart, questionable. Patrick Williams, probable. And Drew Eubanks, Crash's favorite all-time NBA player, is probable.
He's been killing me lately on my props. I've been playing him with Nurkic out, and he's gone under every time. So
I know I was giving you the business there a little bit. I'm sorry. I know he's been a disappointment, and usually he plays his tail off. So I'm really disappointed with his output lately. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, I think C Selfmade has it exactly right. The Spurs are janky. That's the word we're going to use for the Spurs from now on. I'm not playing the Spurs because they're janky, and I agree with that. That's the perfect word. I think Pop is janky as well. So there. All right, you ready for the 9 o'clock game?
Yeah, this is your team. I mean, what's left of them anyway.
No, it's the rebuild mode. So we have
I mean tonight, not in general. I think they're going to be a lot better now, but I'm just saying, just in general for tonight.
Yeah. I keep reading all the horror stories of all the insanity of Irving, and it is terrifying that he could just go off his rocker, But we will see what happens. We've got a 9 o'clock and 2 10 o'clock games. So we have 3 games left. It's a fantastic 8-game slate. And we're going to finish up after these 3 games with the 2 brains are better than 1 FanDuel GPP build. This game, the Dallas Mavericks, 28-26 against the Utah Jazz, 27-27. And it's a laundry list for Dallas. Ntilikina, who's highly owned on the one projected ownership, is only questionable. So why in God's name he's on there, I don't know. And then doubtful is the newly acquired Markieff Morris. He won't play tonight. Bertans out. Kleba out. And then 2 guys by the name of Luka and Kyrie not playing tonight, which is good news for the Jazz fans. Vanderbilt, who's on the trading block, questionable. Maybe that's why he's on. Maybe he's questionable partially. And no Micah Potter. I know he was in most of your builds, so no Micah Potter today.
He is a former Badger, though, so I do know who he is.
Oh, nice. Yeah. All right, so this game, Dallas 29th in pace to a crawl. Kyrie's going to speed that up a little bit. Utah's 12th. And then defensively, Garbaggio, Dallas 23rd and Utah 26th. By the way, I'm worried about it. Expect this. Here's your takeaway from today, Crash. Mark this in the books. After the All-Star break, it's not going to happen immediately, but let it rest a little bit. Start playing over in the Mavericks games and start loading more up on DFS plays, because here's the deal. They're going to play faster than they did. Their defense is going to be much worse, and their scores are going to be much higher. So I'm expecting that going into this. And, where they could win games, 104, 101, it's going to be like 128, 125 at this point. So just something to throw in there to, to keep in mind. Like I say, 23rd and 26th. Utah was 7th when we did a podcast early in the season. They're 26th. So the wheels have fallen off of the Jazz boat. Do boats have wheels? I'm not sure if that mixed together properly, but you know what I mean.
They do, because when they come in shore, they have to pull into the dock and all that.
There you go. So you always have my back, Crash. I know it. This is an island game. Neither team on a back-to-back. 5 of the 8 games have a team on a back-to-back. So that's always a big plus. But are you going to be on some of this Dallas chalk value? What are you going to do here?
I'm looking at. I had to look and see who McKinley Wright even was. I didn't even know who that was. So I had to look. First thing I had to do was look and see who that was to make sure I wasn't missing something. Jaden Hardy, I think, like you said, I mean, I've seen him a few times. He had a game. I don't remember who they were playing. It was on national TV. He got quite a few minutes. I watched that. Yeah. So I think he's a decent play for his price. I mean, if he was more than 4K, I wouldn't play him. But at 3,400 on DraftKings, 3,800 on FanDuel, only min price $10 on Yahoo. I definitely think it's worth a look. And then Christian Wood is my favorite Maverick. I mean, he's the only, main scoring guy that they have left right now. So I definitely like Christian Wood. And the Jazz have allowed the most fantasy points to centers now. They've actually overtaken the Hornets in that category. So,
wow.
Yeah.
What about on the Utah side?
He's not a true center, I guess, because he plays more of the 4, but like a hybrid. So to me, he's still a center. So
true.
Yeah. On the Utah side, I do like Walker Kessler on DraftKings. He's only 5,400. He's 7,000 on FanDuel. Probably not going to go to him there, but he did have last. What would that be? The 28th, whatever day that was. He had 42 DraftKings points against Dallas. So I do like Walker Kessler a little bit. It hurts him a little bit with the Olynyk back, but he still had some decent games even with the Olynyk back. And like you said, they're trying to trade him, so I don't know how many minutes he's going to get either. So,
the scary thing in those situations is, are they going to, baby him because they're trading him, or are they trying to show him off to?
It looks like they're going to baby him. He's only been playing about 18 minutes. So yeah.
I'm hoping. I like Walker Kessler with you as well. It very well could be a DraftKings Yahoo Kessler play, and then FanDuel Şengün where he's cheaper. That's a possibility. I will say, Dallas has been getting pummeled again in the paint. They had straightened that out at last year for a little while, but now, Dwight Powell's like the worst player in the history of the National Basketball Association. I'm sorry. He's a nice man. I like the man, but he can't play center in the NBA. So Kessler's an option for me. The two guys, you're going to fall off your chair on this one, Crash. I sort of like Tim Hardaway Jr. today.
Oh, the guy that you gave me crap for the other day?
Exactly.
Yeah. He had a decent game. He had a decent game that game. So.
Yeah, he didn't embarrass himself, but I haven't played Hardaway, I don't think, all season. But the dude likes to shoot it, and we know that he's a streak shooter, and they're going to need him to score. I think everybody's going to flood to Hardy, and I think Hardy's a nice play. I mean, I think that he definitely can score the ball. I'll certainly have either Hardy or Hardaway, one or the other. Just too good a value to pass up, because those kind of guys can get up 20 shots in a game like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they're both playable commodities. I like Christian Wood a lot. However, he's expensive and he's been out. So is he going to get full blown out run is what I'm concerned about. What do you think?
You think they're going to get blown out? You think they're going to get blown out?
Well, Utah's favored by 9, and Christian Wood hasn't played in a while. And it's only a 222.5 total. So do we want to spend up that kind of money?
He probably won't play, probably more than 25 minutes or so. So
I mean, I don't think you can afford him for 25 minutes at that price.
yeah, that's a good
I don't
point.
know. I mean, he could break the slate if he's going to go.
Right.
You know, if they do play
He
him
goes on
35
for
minutes
60
and the
or
game
something.
stays close.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good point, though. It's been how long? A month, maybe longer since he's played. So,
I'd say maybe 2-3 weeks, maybe something like
2-3
that.
weeks. Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a tough call. I think value-wise, I'd rather go Hardaway Jr. or Hardy. I hope my son's not listening.
Yeah. I mean, Wood's he's not a value play by any means.
No.
So,
My son hates Tim Hardaway Jr. so bad. He wants him to he can't stand it.
Yeah.
So if he hears I'm playing him, he's gonna freak. But yeah.
Did he want Dorian Finney-Smith to leave, or no? Did he?
No, he was sad about that because he's our best defender. But that's he. Again, to get Kyrie, you got to do something. So he was the key component, and it happens. All right, Utah side for me again. Like you say, I think Kessler's in a good spot. I think his price is right, except on FanDuel. It's certainly somebody worth considering here. After that, though, I don't know. Markkanen's too expensive. Not really interested in anywhere else. No.
Yeah, I don't really like Markkanen tonight. I think Christian Wood will do a decent job against him. So.
Yeah, and Dallas still playing pretty slow. So
yeah.
Don't play McKinley Wright, by the way, for anybody that's thinking about doing that.
He's a G League player, right? I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, he's a G League dude, but I think Hardy will get the majority of those minutes personally, or even if they split, Hardy's way more effective. So
yeah.
All right, 2 10:00 games, my friend.
Okay.
And so we got a full night of basketball. Oklahoma City Thunder, Golden State Warriors. Thunder are 25-27, Warriors 27-26. Obviously, no Curry, no Iguodala, which we've announced every stinking day this year and continue to do so. No Dort, Poku, or JRE. So the guys that are out have been out for these two teams. So we pretty much know what we're going to get. Golden State's only a 3.5-point favorite at home. And it's a nice, healthy 233.5. And here's the reason why, Crash. 2 of the top 3 pace teams in the entire league. Thunder, third fastest. Golden State, the fastest. So that's a big plus. Defensively, though, not bad. Thunder, 11th. Golden State, 15th. And it is the first night of a back-to-back on the road for the Thunder. So that's tough. Got to travel all the way over to the West Coast to play Golden State. You got another game tomorrow. Makes it a little bit dicey, but you got to remember the average age of Oklahoma City is like, 15 and a half?
They're young.
They are very young. So what are you going to do here, Crash? This could be a real sneaky game.
Yeah. SGA is obviously the top play on the Oklahoma City side, and he hasn't really had like a monster game. He had his best game against the Warriors so far in his career last time they played, which was just a few days ago. It was like January 30th, and he had 50 DraftKings points. So even then, that's still not what we would need from him at his price. So I'm probably not going to go there. I hate playing Jordan Poole, but without Curry, I kind of feel like, at 6,200 on DraftKings anyway. He's 7,400 on FanDuel. That's too much for me. But 6,200, I think that's a little too cheap for the usage that he's going to get. And then Klay Thompson's had some solid games against the Thunder. The guy that really surprised me, though, is Draymond Green. Draymond's averaged 42.8 DraftKings points in his last 6 games against Oklahoma City. So he's had some really nice games, and he's been playing pretty well lately anyway. So I do like Draymond Green quite a bit in this matchup.
I thought for sure the moose is on the loose. I thought you'd be dabbling with some Mike Muscala.
He didn't even cross my mind. So
he had a decent game the other day.
I know.
So funny.
Yeah.
You never know what to expect from the bigs with OKC. They move guys around like chess pieces,
Yeah. Speaking of a decent game, man, I thought if it wouldn't have been for Kevon Looney, Dallas might have won that game the other day. I mean, that was crazy. He just kept getting offensive rebound after offensive rebound. It was just like he was keeping them alive. It was
Dallas's interior absolutely sucks right now, and that's why Kessler's a good play. I'm telling you, if Kevon Looney burns your ass in the paint, that's that gets he jumps as high as you do, Crash.
Right? He can't. Yeah, I think I can jump higher than him. Actually,
ooh, challenge. Huh? I know that you both can jump higher than me, so I'm not even going to get in that mix.
Yeah.
Doug L., how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. Even though you're late, we love you in the party here. Doug W., as we call him. I like this game, Crash. I like this game. I don't know if I'm wanting you to talk me off of it, or do I go for it? I don't know.
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, Oklahoma City, they've been playing. It doesn't really matter who they've been playing lately. It seems like they've been playing pretty well. They don't always win, but they're competitive in almost any game. So
that's why I think I like this game so much, for that exact reason. The total's high in Vegas. It's it's the second highest total, and I think it's going to be competitive. So for me, I'm gonna put Jordan Poole in every lineup. He's a lock and load, just play him kind of guy for me. Just gonna plug him in. I am unfortunately tempted by Draymond Green. Like you said, he's played much better, so that is a possibility. I do like when he's playing center though, and they don't start Looney, like when Curry was in and they were going with Curry, Poole, Thompson, Wiggins, and Green, he really shined. But Looney snatches some of those rebounds and stuff from him,
Yeah, and the Warriors are just a lot better at home. I mean, they've been terrible on the road, but at home they're playing really. I mean, they're what you would expect from a defending champ. So I mean, they're really good at home.
They're a different team for sure at home, no doubt.
Yeah, I think Draymond's definitely in play. I mean, you got, like you said, you got so many young guys, and he's going to take advantage of their inexperience and force turnovers. So you got a lot of opportunities for points for sure.
Yeah. And I'm going to roll the dice on my top play of the day. I'm going to make it I didn't have time to make my Discord avatar, but it is going to be SGA. The guy's playing so damn good. I love the pace here. I think it stays close.
Yeah.
This will be a key late game for me, because I'll have a little SGA versus Poole as two of my really strong plays today.
I like it, Coach.
All right. Should we just skip this last game since it's the Bucks, or do we need to
just play honest. We can skip it.
All right. Last game on the slate, my friends, and then we'll do our two brains are better than one lineup. It is, of course, the Milwaukee Bucks, 36-17. So Crash is having a party.
Getting close. Yeah.
Yeah. Trailblazers, 26-27. I have tickets. Did I tell you this? That somebody that I've worked with for years has offered me free, by the way,
this game
to a Portland Trailblazers playoff game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So and that was offered to me about 2 months ago, a month ago. Well, guess what? They might not make the damn playoffs.
I was going to say they may not make the playoffs, because I think they're like 9th or 10th or something in the West.
They're right on that not getting in deal. So, free tickets to the stinking playoffs, and I got to get them in there. So,
they got to get in.
By the way, so listeners, root for the Trailblazers to win a few games. I don't even care if it's at 10th.
Yeah, just not tonight. I'm fine with that. As long as they don't win tonight, I'm fine with that.
I'm rooting for them, buddy. I'm sorry,
I'm
man.
Sure you are. Yeah, I would be good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's a lie. I wouldn't be rooting for the Blazers against the Bucks tonight, even if I had tickets for the Blazers.
I know. You're a heartfelt champ. But here's the thing. Milwaukee's only a 4-point favorite in Vegas, Crash.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's a 242 number.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say about the Bucks, is even though they've won 7 in a row, they're very competitive games, with the exception of like one game, I think, against the Pelicans. They had a blowout. Other than that, every game's been like down to the wire. I mean, that game against the Clippers about had a heart attack. So
that was tight. Definitely. We expect Giannis to play, by the way. He's probable. No Ibaka, no Portis. Portis remains out. For Portland, your buddy Eubanks and Payton look like they're going to play. Yeah. No Baji, Nurkic, or Winslow for Portland. So, again, that little hole in the paint there is going to have to be filled by your buddy Eubanks or somebody. Somebody's got to stop Giannis in there. And
good luck against Brook.
Brook, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, that dude, he's playing unbelievable basketball. Brook Lopez, defensively, I mean, he's just awesome. So
he's been terrific for them. And to think this late in his career for him to be, playing as good as he's playing. Right. I mean, I remember he had a few all-star years with the Nets, but seems like he leveled off for a long time, and now he's getting this late resurgence.
Yep. At what is he, 36? Something like that?
He's up there.
34. Yeah.
He's getting up there. Yeah. Milwaukee's 11th in pace. Portland's only 22nd. Defensively, though, Milwaukee 4th, and Portland a terrible 27th. So, I've debated this game all night and day trying to figure out what to do because this is going to be key. I think a lot of people's lineups are going to be resting on this game. So I figured rather than make the decisions, I would wait until I heard from the Milwaukee Bucks expert. So what am I going to do?
Were you thinking about fading Giannis? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think I will, but I thought about it. I'm thinking about it all over. I don't know what to do there. I mean, it was like, do you spend all your cash and go Giannis and Dame and just say, screw it? Or do you play one of them? Or I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, the way Giannis has been playing lately, it'd be really hard to fade him. On the off chance that this game got out of hand somehow and Milwaukee blew him out, I mean, you'd be way ahead of the field if you did. But other than that, I just don't see Giannis not scoring 60 to 70 against almost anybody right now, because even if you build a wall and do all that kind of stuff like people talked about a couple of years ago, he's to the point now where he's getting everybody else involved. So if you do that, he's still going to get assists. He's still going to get blocks, rebounds, steals. I mean, he's almost an automatic 60 to 70 the way he's playing lately. So unless he cools off, it's really hard to fade him right now. I'll definitely be playing him probably 100%. I just think that his ceiling is too much to risk to not go after. And then Middleton has been playing great. I mean, he's only been playing about 20 minutes a game, but he's only 5,400 on DraftKings. So he's still staying below 6K. He's average.
Is there a chance they stretch those minutes a little bit? Because I feel really good.
He'll probably get 25 soon. I think he'll probably get 25, maybe even tonight. But it won't be too long before he gets up in the 30s, and then you're really going to have to start playing him. But
at that price,
he's still getting mid-30 fantasy points lately at his price. So it's values there for sure. And that's really it for me on Milwaukee. Grayson Allen just had a monster game. He'll probably have like 12 fantasy points. I mean, that's just kind of the way he is. Connaughton, you could look at him, but with Middleton there, I don't like him as much. And then Brook Lopez, like I said, I mean, he's been playing well, but he's actually been playing worse since Portis went out of the lineup. I think he's getting tired. So on the Portland side, Damian Lillard, obviously, you can look at him any night. Milwaukee's been pretty good against point guards for whatever reason. LaMelo Ball just kills them. So I don't know why that is, but he does. But outside of that, point guards have really struggled against the Bucks. So assuming that they put Drew Holiday on Lillard, which I'm sure they will. I think they'll probably, keep him below the 60 fantasy point mark. So
yeah, I mean, it's a tough call. What do you think? I mean, do you roll the dice at all on Eubanks as like a last man in thing, just because they're going to have him on the floor a decent amount?
I mean, I've been playing him lately, and he's only been getting around 20 fantasy points, and that's in good matchups. This is not a good matchup at all. I mean, Giannis and Lopez are going to give him fits. So
you would think so.
Yeah.
It's too risky. I think there's enough value here. I mean, I'm with you on Giannis. I think, like I said, I think everybody's build is going to be Giannis and a ton of the value, and then build from there. I want to try to be different with Giannis and SGA, and then try to, take like 4 value guys and make it work. So it's going to be stars and scrubs for me, Crash, because as of now, I think I am going to play Giannis. I don't think you can chase that 70 number or whatever it is,
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to blow out Portland, really. Portland's really scrapping it, like I say, to try to make the playoffs. Every game counts, and it's at home. How does Milwaukee usually play on these long West Coast road trips, though?
They usually score a lot of points. I can tell you that.
Do they?
Score points. Yeah. I can think of one a couple of years ago when they played the Lakers and they played the Nuggets and it might have been Portland. I don't remember, but they were scoring like 130, 140. They were putting up some serious points. So
good.
Yeah.
Other than that, on the other side of the ball for Portland, if I don't go with the Jordan Poole, maybe a Jeremy Grant could be a sneaky, really good play today. But not sure I'm going to go there. Sort of like Simons as the comeback guy on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, that's really the position to attack the Bucks, is that 2 guard. So I do like that play. Yeah,
and they give up threes as well.
Yeah,
and they're going to blitz Lillard. So Simons should get some spot up threes, which he's very good at. So I think he's a nice,
sharp call, coach. I really
valuable guy. Yeah. So maybe a Giannis and Simon. So for me, Crash, it's going to be 10 p.m. I'm going to probably have 5 of my guys in those last 2 games.
Yeah, you'll be sweating it, but it's always fun to come at the at the very end to come from behind and win. I don't think there's anything better in DFS than that. So
it is great. I mean, it's a lot more fun. And again, I always preach this, and I always have to say it every time because you never know if somebody's watching for the first time. But don't ever let the time of the game affect who you play. And I know everybody loves to have those, aces in the pocket early. Now, let's just say if for me, if OKC, Golden State, Milwaukee, Portland were the 7:00 games, I would approach it exactly the way as if they're the 10:00 game. So don't ever let that, tilt anybody out there. Play who you got to play. It just happens tonight that it looks like we're going to have a lot of late action going. David wants to know Middleton's restrictions. We talked about that a little bit. He's been around 20 minutes or so. Crash thinks he could get stretched to 25. I would love to see him at that 25 to 28.
Spot. He's been averaging right around 30 fantasy points in 20 minutes. So if he gets, that's definitely good value for his price.
Yeah, for sure. Our man Michael from over in Australia. By the way, Michael, I believe, was the one that won the ticket yesterday. So I didn't think I could send him PayPal or anything. But they do. We just had to transfer to Australian money and send it. So Michael won a ticket yesterday, even though he has to play it in the Australian contest, not in DraftKings or.
Oh, okay.
So that was sort of cool. But Michael's asking, is Giannis, is he worth 26% of your total salary that he can play on the Australian site? What do you think of that? A quarter of your cash right there, Crash. He stumped you with the Aussie.
That's a tough one. I mean, it's not like it's a 4-game slate and he's going to be 70% owned and you have to play him or you're going to get smoked. Right. So, I mean, it is up for debate. I mean, I think that it is up for debate. My question would be, who would you play instead of him that you think is going to get you what he could put up?
Well, I would ask Michael, where does SGA lie in that ownership? Because if anybody can chase Giannis points tonight, I think it would be SGA, in my opinion. I don't know if he'll catch him, but I mean, if he's
or maybe Tatum if Brown's out, maybe Tatum too. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. If that game stays close enough, but I wish we could see the Australian stuff. I'd love to check that out sometime, Michael. If you want to DM me at DFS Coach Talk, I'd be happy to look over your slate or what you're picking from for you. That would be no problem. Okay, are you ready to build the 2 brains and get on down the road?
Yeah, I was about to ask you the same thing, so let's do that.
All right, I'm going to go in here. I feel so confident. I'm not even going to mess around. I'm going to play the big money, $7.77. Go for all the cash in one One feel swoop, buddy.
All right.
250,000 guaranteed contest. We have an hour and 40 minutes until lock. Look at this.
Now, how good does that feel?
We're rock solid.
3 minutes till lock. That's how it felt lately.
So. I know it. I'm going to take small forward Giannis.
Okay.
Just to plug him in so that you don't have the stress of having him in there.
All right. And I will take... Who do you like more between Pirtle and Kessler? I'm looking at both at center.
That's really close. What's the price difference?
You got 7,000 for Kessler and 6,500 for Pirtle.
Man, that's a dead ass toss up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
go with Kessler. I'm gonna go with Kessler.
I mean, we talked about why he was such a good play today. So
yeah.
I'm going to take SGA. I know it puts us up against it, but again, that's my differentiator today. I'd like to have SGA and Giannis and a lot of value.
There's a ton of value. I'll take Sumner.
That's my favorite play. He's only 5,300. You got to love that. I'm going to stick by my guns. $5,200 Tim Hardaway Jr.
Okay.
So we're about 5,000 a person. So it's not like we have a bunch of money, but enough. I mean, if we can get 150, 160 just from SGA and Giannis, I mean, I think we can get 140 from the rest of the team combined.
I would hope so. If I take Simons, that's going to put us too much at crunch, isn't it?
How much is it?
400.
Yeah, I think we better stay in the fives, or else we're gonna, unless we have like a min guy that we can grab.
Yeah.
Let me see here real quick. I'm
if Jalen Green is still out, we could look at Josh Christopher. He's been playing pretty well, but he's not going to be out. So, well, do you like Hardy? I mean, he's 38.
I don't really want to play Hardy and Hardaway.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to? Is Hardy only a point guard?
No, he's a shooting guard.
Do you want to play Hardy instead of Hardaway? I got a gut hunch on Hardaway though.
Yeah, I'll trust you with that.
I think he's going to hit 5 or 6 threes tonight minimum.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm saying that, but
let's come back to this shooting guard position. I'm going to go back to power forward.
I got a guy to take. You're going to laugh at me, but you know what? I'm going right back to damn ass Eric Gordon. He always comes through for me.
Okay.
And he's cheap. And the dude's he's good still, even though he's old.
Yeah.
So I think you have 2 guys now. This is a little tough.
Yeah, so you went with
don't take
Gordon, shooting guard or small forward?
Wherever we need to put him. So we know we need a couple of power forwards.
Yeah. Well, I've got Marcus Morris as one of mine.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty good. I wish we would have gotten Marcus Morris instead of Markieff Morris.
Yeah.
All right, so who are we moving to get Marcus Morris?
Well, we've got.
Oh, he can play power.
He can play power forward, yeah. So so what we have left is small forward and power forward.
Or 2 power forwards, however we need to maneuver that.
Yeah.
You know who I'm not taking anymore? Keegan Murray. That dude makes me want to vomit. He's so inconsistent.
Yeah. But he is a rookie, so he'll
it's to be expected.
Yeah.
This is painstaking. There's a lot of bad players down in this price range.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I think I'm going to go with, if I go with Kenyon Martin, does that put us like an impossibility to taking another guy?
3,900. Let me see.
Has Trey Lyles been getting any minutes? Not too great. 14, 20, 20, 16. What about Watford? Did he get any minutes?
What I was actually looking at was Watford.
That's the guy, man.
Minutes, yeah.
That's the guy.
3,900. I mean, you can't really beat that.
So. I mean, he and Eubanks are going to get all the minutes, I would assume. And big. And they have to play bigs with Lopez and Giannis in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's only 3,900, so yeah.
Yeah. 2 brains are better than 1. It is definitely a stars and scrubs build, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's SGA, Edmund Sumner, Tim Hardaway Jr., Eric Gordon, the man, the myth, the legend, Giannis, Marcus Morris, Kenyon Martin, Traden Watford, and Walker Kessler. What an interesting GPP build.
Yeah, it is.
All right. It's locked in, my friend. And great stuff. Or move Yanni. Yeah, we could have moved Yanni too. Doug L likes Hardy. Yeah, congratulations.
We're not moving Giannis on my watch.
All right. Yeah. Oh, I heard that was a possibility that the Mavs were going to pick up Giannis for Dwight Powell and some picks.
Yeah.
Emerson Baby Gap's trying to punk me here. No, I don't like Josh Green. No, I'm not going to play him in fantasy. He's a hard pass for me, Mr. EBGS, Emerson Baby Gap. How about you, Crash? Did you even think about Josh Green, or my harassment talk?
I don't even think I even saw Josh Green. That's how far out of my mind he was when we were looking at our players. So
good. All right, my friends. Appreciate everybody jumping in. Had a real nice group in here today. We went a little long, but appreciate everybody. Thoughts on Sabonis? I'm not going to go there. Too expensive. He's let me down a little bit recently. And with Fox back and the usage getting spread back out, they have nobody out. They're going to play a lot of guys. And it's also the second night of a back-to-back. So I'm passing on Sabonis. Any other questions, folks, before we check out? Crash, why don't you tell them one more time about the Super Bowl podcast where there will be a free ticket or 2 given away?
Yeah, tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, Steve and I are going to be going over the Super Bowl and, like Coach said, giving away, I think, 2 tickets, 2 DK tickets. So definitely tune into that.
I just realized something. You must have really bumped your head because you are doing a podcast when the Milwaukee Bucks game starts.
Yeah, I know. I can only do what Steve's schedule would allow. So, yeah.
Oh, man. I am going to jump in that podcast and just torture you. I'm going to say, oh, no, Giannis just twisted his ankle.
I'll have it on in the background. I'll be able to look at it every now and then.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, my friends. Thank you so much, Crash. It was a lot of fun. Tomorrow is Deb Day, right?
Yep. Deb will be flying solo tomorrow, I believe, unless you decide to jump in or something, or I do. But I think she'll probably be flying solo.
More than likely, unless I can swing it. But, of course, Deb needs no additional people. She just carries, she carries it. So that's she had a takedown the other day, too.
She did. She had a takedown on Saturday, I think it was, or Friday. Yeah.
So you don't want to miss that podcast tomorrow. I'm not sure the time, but we'll post that in Discord for members, and we'll get it out there on Twitter as well. So, Crash, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed it. I'm glad you're able to. Your schedule allowed you to be able to join me today, and definitely looking forward to doing the next one we do together, whenever that'll be.
All right, man. Let's take some contests down, and I'll be tuning into that Super Bowl podcast tonight at 10 Eastern. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome Monday and a great week. And Deb will be here tomorrow to give you some more winners as we look to crush it in DFS, NBA. Oh, timeout. Any prize picks?
I was just about to say, I think I got a couple prize picks play. So we got Walker Kessler at 28.5 fantasy.
Our last timeout. Walker Kessler. Okay.
Yeah, Walker Kessler, 28.5 fantasy score. And then I like the under on Drew Eubanks at 22.5.
Oh, you're gonna go against him after playing him all these times. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I may have to
Burned him one too many times. I had to go against him this time.
So. That is always the kiss of death, usually.
Yeah, he's gone under in 4 of his last 5 games, and
Watford's going to get those minutes. So
Watford's going to get those minutes. Like, yeah.
Let's get it, man. All right, second take. We thank you again and appreciate all of you guys and gals, and we will see you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in NBA, DFS, and PrizePicks.